am astonished that you are so quickly deserting him who called you in the grace of Christ and are turning to a different gospel. Not that there is another one, but there are some who trouble you and want to distort the gospel of Christ. I mean, that's serious stuff. So there's two things that we need to know. Number one, we need to know what the gospel was that Paul preached, because he's saying you're going to another gospel. Well, in order to know that it's another gospel, we need to know what the real one is, right? So we need to know the gospel Paul preached. Second, we need to know the distortion. What is the distortion? Well, we need to know what it is so we can watch out for it, right? So even though he was fully God, he was also fully man, and he experienced a real human death and was buried. So that's part of the gospel. Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures. He was buried. That's two parts. What else? Okay. Christ rose again the third day according to the Scriptures. He did not stay dead. He did not stay in the grave. God raised him from the dead through the power of his Spirit. He raised him from the dead so that he would be alive forevermore. And he didn't raise him in a glorified body. He didn't raise him in a spirit body. He raised him in the same body that died on the cross. I want to lean in because you need to understand this tonight. God did not raise Jesus from the dead spiritually. He raised him from the dead physically. And the same body that hung on the cross, that had the nails in the hands and in the feet and the wound of a spear in the side, that same body died, was buried for 3 days in a grave, and on the third day, God raised that same body from the dead, according to the Scriptures. As we have said before, so now I say to you again, if anyone is preaching to you a gospel contrary to the one you received, let him be accursed. And the Apostle Paul preached the same gospel to the Jews and to the Gentiles. The Apostle Paul preached the same gospel to the Galatians in every single one of the churches that he founded in Galatia. It was all the same gospel to all of those little towns and all of those little villages and all of those little churches that he founded at the south end of the Black Sea. Paul preached the gospel that we just read. Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures. He was buried. He was fully God and fully man and died a real human death and was buried. He rose again the third day according to the Scriptures, and he was seen by many credible and reliable eyewitnesses. And listen, if anybody comes to you claiming to have some new idea, some new revelation, some new understanding of the gospel of Christ that nobody's ever heard of before, if they don't follow those four things, it doesn't matter what they claim it came from. Because listen to what he says again. Even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to the one we preach to you, let him be accursed. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are at least two religious organizations in the world today that I could name. I'm not going to name them right now, but I could name them right now and you'd know exactly who they are. And both of them claim to have received their revelation from an angel. And both of them have departed from and denied the gospel Paul preached to the Galatians.